I've had an absolutely terrifying couple of days. The worst thing about living with a medical illness is that there's very little dignity afforded. There's this book, Being Mortal. It's just a beautiful book about people, about dying, and 50% of Americans now, or 45%, are now dying alone and on ventilators, and we're doing a terrible job of allowing people to have any control or dignity at the end of their lives. And I've been through such a medical nightmare, and my family is pretty horrible, to be quite honest. And so I can't fix having a medical illness, and I barely have medical care. And I called for help because I fell in my home and I couldn't get up at all. And they were very, very kind. But then I tried to fix everything, make it better, and go out. And I fell and I hit my head. I was completely unresponsive and so frightening. But nobody wants to go to the hospital. The hospital is where they treat you just badly, dear God. I mean, the hospitals are not hospitals. They're not places where anybody cares about anybody. They're opportunities to get yourself hurt by other people. And but yesterday morning, I couldn't breathe. I get angry at myself because I can die from this illness easily. And there was that split second moment where don't call for help. It's the most horrible feeling of not being able to breathe. But then the survival instinct is so strong. And I called for help, but I called for help. They were pretty awful. Every bit of judgment, whatever. And deadly amounts of medicine just to get my blood labs in a normal range. And it is the worst feeling in the world to know you're going to die from an illness and to be essentially in open water alone. As I say, running blind in the dark, cold and naked and alone. And it's perilous. And that's a metaphor, by the way. And when you call for help, the people who help you oftentimes make it so much worse. And people think they're helping you when they're shouting at you or talking badly to you. They think, no, how was any of that? How would any of that help anything? And so a couple people made some commitments to me, and I don't know if they will keep them. Other people made commitments and promises and commitments, and they just didn't. Somebody's disappointed me a great deal. Oh, big shot. And just, like that movie, Failure to Launch. And just, there's nothing crueler to do to a human being than to lead them to believe that in some way they're going to be helpful or protective, or they care about you, and then they just, I call them drive-bys, because in many ways it might be kinder if somebody just shot you. You always call them drive-bys because they're always the people who you don't ask, but they offer. That's why they're drive-bys. I didn't ask anybody to do X, Y, and Z. But then when they offer and they fail to do it, or they don't keep their word, and then they become the victim. Every excuse in the world. Dear gosh, It's so it's cruel is what it is. It's cruel. And then you just fall deeper into a place of despair and just say, well, there's one more person who completely let me down, who gave their word, who they set up the plan, they make the conditions. And then when they don't do their part, they blame you. A typical narcissistic personality disorder dynamic. Narcissistic injury. And then, of course, you're blamed, and I'm a vulnerable person, so. Anyway, that's it. I've been through hell. And I don't see any silver linings. Except for the fact that I recognize how dishonest people have been with me. What is the saying? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on